For the last few days, I've been working at the AQS Quilt Show in Grand Rapids, and I had a busy, wonderful time. And I thought I videotaped along the way and thought I would show you kind of a day in the life, except it is more like a week in the life when it comes to this show. But I thought I'd show you what it's like, so let's do it. So the week begins with loading the truck. This is my husband, Steve. He is helping us load lots of items. And then here is my daughter, Samantha, and she is also helping. And it's time for us to get the products to our booth. And so we're looking for our booth right now. You can see all the vendors are setting up. And here is our empty booth that we start with. And so we have one table, we've got another one coming. We're moving things around so that we can start with getting things set up. And this is when I realized I forgot one of my tables at home. But not to worry, I'm able to order another one and it will be coming soon. So we are going to keep unloading everything we have and getting ready. Now we have set up our booth and we are just about ready to go. The trick is to get as much products into the booth as we can and still have the limitation of what will fit in our vehicles. And so my daughter is helping me set up, and she decided to do this little trick, but joke's on her, I left it into the video. Now I want to shout out to Carolina Moore, who did this fun thing at her last show that she was at, where she would slip items secretly into people's bags. And so I thought it was a fun idea, so I decided to try the same. Here's what I'm going to try to slip into somebody's bag when they're not looking, and a little note to tell them where it came from. And so I've decided this young woman had her bag on her shoulder, and I was very easily able to put it right in her bag. She never even noticed. And so we're going to try another one. This one was a little bit harder. I had to create a diversion. And so as I bumped her, I said, oh, I'm just picking this up, sorry. And it worked like a charm. And so I tried one more time. This was so fun to do. And so I thought I could get it right into her bag, but then I touched her bag so she knew. So I started talking to her, and then boop, when she wasn't paying attention, I was able to put that in. And along the way, I was able to see some beautiful quilts. I'm showing you, this is one collection challenge that was done by the Great Lakes Heritage Quilters, and it's called Bees, Bugs, and Butterflies, Oh My. And aren't these beautiful? I mean, look at the stunning way she used the background with lots of bee fabric. And this is a window. Looking out the window, you have different things you see. And if you're liking this video, please hit like and subscribe. And who doesn't love happy bees? Just stunning, and the quilting was amazing. Beetles, more beetles, I think. Beautiful. And here, bees, bugs, and butterflies, oh my. And these quilters from Birmingham, Michigan, from our home state, did a fantastic job. This I had to show you because this was one of the really amazing quilts. Isn't that stunning how much of it looks like a picture, a photo? But look how much detail, the closer I got, just the better it got. The face, the stitching over the dyed fabric with all the variation. Just beautiful. And in the morning before the show starts, I'm able to walk around and see the other booths. So yes, it's time for shopping. And there are just so many booths at these large shows. It is super fun. I like to go around and find what's new, what's interesting, and this sure seemed to be speaking to me. And of course, I'm always looking for new, fun things that maybe I haven't seen yet, One of the things I love about quilting is that they're always coming out with new ideas, new products, fun things for us to try. And after 4 days of talking to lots of quilters, it is the end of the show, which looks very similar to the beginning of the show. When I used to do quilt shows, my niche was, of course, I would sell tools, but I also would sell tools that were the newest. And so my most of the times my website is usually about the newest tools. So people would come to me at the quilt shows and they would ask, what do you got new this year? And that was great. I did that for several years. And then after COVID, I had a large amount of inventory that had to move. And I used this show, which is a QS Grand Rapids, I used this show to move some inventory because I needed to get it moving out so I could buy more inventory. So for last year, I did the show as all half off. Or the last couple years, all half off of inventory that I need to move, because every year I try to have new inventory for my quilt retreats. But then this year I had a couple of times where people would say, what's new? And then I realized, I don't have new things, I have just half off things. So that was great for most quilters, but what I learned was that I'm going to change it next year. Is I'm going to make sure that I do have some new things so that I can continue to build the brand that I have the newest gadgets, which is what I do typically focus on. So with every show you learn something new, and that's one of the things that I've learned this year. And I'm also thinking about my setup and what types of things that I need to do better and every year that gets a little bit better. So those are things I'm always working on to get better each year. I do track my quilt show year after year. So since I've gone to this quilt show for I think it's 7 or 8 years, I will every year, in fact I keep it right in my iPhone, I have notes on how much sold, how much did I pay for booths and overhead, and how much profit. And that's really a good idea to keep, because I can then go back and I can compare year over year. So for instance, I know that this year my sales are down probably about 15%, and that does seem to be consistent with the economy and the questions everybody has about the economy. So I expected that might happen. I also know that it's really funny because when I come to these shows, it's pretty consistent. I mean, what I make, there have been some years where I made it almost exactly to the dollar, almost what I made the year before. So there are ups and downs with the vendoring, because there are ups and downs with the economy, and it is one of the first things that I focus on when we need to kind of be careful about our spending is our hobbies. However, the one thing that is really nice about the quilting industry is that usually it's pretty resistant to economy fluctuations, because even in down times you can use this hobby to help you cut down spending in other areas. And so you can find the sales fabrics that'll keep your prices down, and you can make gifts for Christmas and for your friends, and that's really a huge savings for a lot of quilters, is that they can make these beautiful quilts that are worth far more to their family members than almost any other gift they could get. And so even if they do last year's fabrics, things like that, like I have at this booth, so this is a good year for me to have a booth that has discounts in it, as every year is. But I think this year it helps me keep my sales up, because people are looking for ways to continue to build their stash and work on their projects and keep the prices down. Now, in other years, when I don't have things that are on sale, then I focus on demonstrating the tools and the gadgets that I have, because that's a really good way to sell in a good market. However, now, like I said, I think I need to make a mixture of both for next year, and we'll just keep plugging along. But record keeping, and it doesn't have to be really involved. Record keeping can be very simple. Just putting some notes in my phone has been amazing. And then every time I buy a new phone, it moves over. In fact, I use the Evernote app because it's great for tracking just about everything in my mind. It's like taking my whole brain and putting it into an app that I can use from phone to phone to phone as the years go by. So if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and thanks for sharing my day in a life video, and we will see you soon. Thanks for joining me.